Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tommy and welcome to another Tutorial Tuesday. As you might hear, I am a tiny, teensy little bit sick despite the fact that I don't want to admit it to myself. I'm powering through, so I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little sexier than usual, but today we will be building a mountain, a valley, and a few things sprinkled in between. Many people have asked me to do or create a tutorial on how to create mountains, valleys, or other rock formations, but then you're like, what's other rock formations? You know, like we have mountains, we have valleys, what else there is there to do? So it took me a little while to come up with 3 other types of rock formations, and they will be sprinkled in there in this video, but mostly we'll be focusing on building a mountain and a valley, as you can already see in the preview. So let's get right to it. So we're starting with the mountain. We're doing circular moves with the raised terrain brush, and then we're switching for water because it's much quicker. And then I realized that I didn't want to create such a big mountain. I wanted the mountain to be a little smaller. So the bigger you want your mountain to be, the more space you need around it, because the raised terrain tool only lets you go so far. Now I'm creating the ridges around the mountain because you don't want an even shape. You want an uneven shape when you're creating a mountain, and these ridges are a perfect tool for you to create the illusion of, you know, unevenness of well, it's not really an illusion. It's like, you know, if you want to be detailed, you use the smallest brush after using the biggest brush to create like all the work for you, the initial work. If you want sharp edges of the mountain, of these ridges, you use the flatten tool, and you take the flatten tool and you go right next to where you raise the terrain. I hope that makes sense. You've seen it, you've seen me doing now. Of course, the most important part of the mountain is the rock texture. We want especially the ridges to feel rocky, to feel very mountainy, and you use the rock texture across the whole mountain, and then you put in the trees between the ridges, and the trees like naturally have some foliage under them, so it doesn't really matter that it's all on rock. The trees do bring a little grass in there, and of course a little snow. I used this map on purpose because I knew that we had snow on this map. The second thing that I'm creating is a ridge, but it's not like a mountain ridge, but it's a ridge between the mountain and the plateau that we will be creating. So I'm doing very small clicks over here, and I'm trying to flatten the terrain like one bit after bit, and then I will be using the smooth tool to create the path between the mountain and the plateau, if you get what I mean. So you just need to do very small clicks for this, and then you put the path down, and voila. Of course, I needed to flatten the terrain around the path, because one thing that I hate is crooked fences and crooked paths, so we cannot have that. And now I'm smoothing things out again because I wanted to create a sharper edge right next to the path, but with this game it sometimes, you know, jumps into place, so you need to go back and forth and do some corrections when you want to have sharp edges, which I gave up on after a while because I was like, okay, let me just smooth this out, and the edges don't have to be that sharp. The third thing that we're doing is a cliff. Cliff is a really easy thing to do, especially if you have a viewing gallery like this. You just flatten the terrain right down by it until the game lets you, and that's basically it. There's no real magic in creating steep cliffs in this game. It just like you go until the game lets you. One thing that can help with cliffs is rocks, which I forgot about my rocks. Can you believe it? Like, I did the mountain and I didn't like put the rocks in there, so I'm putting them there now. But you know, as we say on this channel, rocks are the pillars of a great enclosure, of a great park as well, and of a great mountain. And the fourth thing that we're doing is a plateau. And on this plateau, we'll have the guest section because I like guest sections to be elevated for the hotels and the guests to actually, like have these views. I'm creating some small ridges over here as well. And one thing that you want to focus on when you're creating a plateau is that you don't want to create, you do want that part where you put your guest section to be even, but then you want to have some small bumps in there, some smaller hills to break the evenness of the whole place, because then it doesn't look natural. I'm creating a small guest section here because I said to myself, why not? This will be just a quick impromptu something, some quick path work, some quick, I'm not really even sure how to call it. I'm placing down some planters, some fountains, some individually placeable trees. I like to break my squares with nature, and I think it's a very important thing to break your squares with nature. It gives it a little more flair, it gives it a little more life. Of course, I'm paving the paths with planters as I always do. And now I'm putting down some more trees and putting down water. I love when I can fit water into the hole in the square and break it up even more, because it really looks nice, especially now that we can put in individually placeable trees and put it right by the water's edge and create a nice view like this. I just love creating these natural scenery, natural sceneries, scenarios, and placing down some fountains, some more. What are these planters? I'm sorry, I'm a little tired. It's after 10 here where I'm currently at, recording this. Placing down some tables and chairs and paving some more paths with some more planters as I do, and creating one more cliff over here. And now we're on to the valley. In the valley you usually have a river, so that's what I did here. And this is a huge valley, so I did the river a little bigger than I usually do, but I did a river delta. I split it into two parts over here. And after the river was done, I did the invisible fence. We have the invisible fence, so why not use it? And for a build like this, it will suffice. And I'm placing down some rocks right next to the map's edge, next to the fence, so that we don't get a notification about danger to guests, which we all dearly love. Then I realized that the water raised the terrain a little bit, but then I was like, okay, I'm gonna raise the terrain anyway, because one thing about valleys is that it needs to have mountains on both sides of it. Geography 101, welcome. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna raise the terrain anyway. And I love raising terrain right next to the water's edge, because the water is like a natural barrier where, you just raise it until the point that the game doesn't let you raise it anymore. And that's why I like doing these mountains and steep hills next to the water, because it's the easiest thing to do. But of course, I'm correcting some of the things. I'm creating some more ridges to make it look a little more natural, to not be just, hills and trees and everything. And I'm placing down some of those trees, yeah. And of course, I'm placing down rocks, because we need to have rocks. And after rocks, I realized that I didn't place any shrubs, so I'm placing down the shrubs. The shrubs really do create a difference, especially when you mix it with the rock texture. It creates wonders, because it's like rocks broken up by these shrubs. And then I realized that I wanted to have also the redwood trees over there as well. And that's what I was doing. And I was placing some more rocks. And I think that we are nearing the end of the speed build, and I'll see you back in the capture mode in a few seconds. And we're here. This is the valley that we have created today. day. I do hope that this video helped you with creating some mountains of your own, some valleys of your own, gave you some good tips on how to do cliffs and plateaus and ridges, especially the mountain ridges, because many times people don't think about, you know, like these little details, like flattening the terrain to make the ridges sharper. So I really do hope that you got some inspiration out of today's build. This build took about an hour and something, but I really was rushing it, I would say. If I wanted to make it more detailed, it would take up to 2 hours, I guess, 2.5. So that's what you need to prepare for it. This was the guest section, and we're going up again to the mountain. This is the view from the viewing gallery, or the viewing station. What is it? Platform. This guy is enjoying it. And this is the view from the other viewing platform. And with this, I will slowly start saying my goodbyes. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching today's video. My name is Tommy. If you like the video, please do like, comment, or share with your friends. And if you like my upcoming, if you think that you would like my upcoming content, please do consider subscribing, because I have much more coming. So thank you again. Have the greatest of the days, and till the next time, bye bye.